Hello, my little thieves. It is Phantom here, and welcome back to another stream. It is cold. It is cold. This human form does not keep me warm very well like my wolf form does, bro. It's fucking freezing. My hands are fucking cold as shit. It is too cold here. It is too cold. I'm gonna wait a few minutes. No, wait till it's 5 minutes, let everybody file in. But guys, it's fucking freezing right now. I'm a little bit late, admittedly, because I needed to eat. But it's cold. Guys, it's cold. Bro, it's freezing. It is cold. It is freezing. It is God knows how many degrees outside. And in this human form, it is not fun. Alright. Well, we're going back into the letter. We don't have any trailers or anything to see today, I don't think. I may double check that in a second. But, while I was setting up, there wasn't anything. So, we might be Gucci and we can just go straight into it. But yeah, let me just double check, make sure that there aren't any trailers or anything that we're missing from Valorant, from DBD, or from Apex. From what I know, Apex doesn't have a new trailer out today because, everything is wonderful, nice, and Gucci. We watched the last trailer that could have been out for Chamber yesterday, and DBD hasn't had a new trailer since the last one. So I think we are pretty much Gucci. Yeah, looks like we are good. Also, I hope that if you guys are interested in Hell of a Boss, that you have watched Hell of a Boss's new episode, the finale part 1, and that was incredibly good, I would have to say. I kind of felt sad for both Blitz and Stolas. I'm not gonna go into detail as to why, but it was very cute, very sad, kind of, sad on both sides. It kind of brings to light what kind of relationship they have. But yeah, it makes you cry a little bit. Anyways, let us proceed on to the game. Yeah, let's get on to the game. I also adjusted the dynamic lighting ever so slightly, so it won't be as dark when we're in a dark area, but that does lower the dynamic lighting just by a tad overall, but it's okay. It's only by a little smidget, so there's still dynamic lighting overall, but it's just a little bit faded so that you can still see me when it's like super dark in the game. So let's I hit the wrong button. Okay. Wow. There we go. Voila. Let us load the game. Yes, load game file. Let's get into it. You can see, you can still kind of see me in the when the screen is black in comparison to last time, and the colors are a bit more faded so that you can still see my colors. But yeah, let's get on to this. It is now that Johannes returns with security, along with a concerned-looking Officer Lee. They surround her and move to escort the hysterical woman. All right, when we left off, okay, let's just do a small recap. When we left off, Officer Lee's wife had come in. I just started. Are you serious? Excuse me. Officer Lee's wife had come in, very drunk and very hysterical, and she is a pregnant woman claiming that her baby is in fact, what's his face? Is in fact Luke's baby, and not Officer Lee's child. So that's quite something, I gotta say to you. That's all right. So we will keep going with the polls thing when it comes to the options. Like, give me a second. Give me 2 seconds. Let me just get to the... Alright. Okay. Bam. Alright. So, we are currently dealing with a drunk pregnant woman, full of hormones, and now full of alcohol as well. This will be fun. Alright. They surround and move to escort the hysterical woman. Judging by his pale face, he has heard the whole thing, and I feel nothing but pity for the man. Not that I believe Rochelle. Luke will never. Alright, I have to go. Hang on, give me the accent. He will never go as far as to sleep with another woman, right?
I'm so sorry for her behaviour. She's been under a lot of stress. And the alcohol. Talking nonsense, that's all it is. You're not allowed to drink because of the baby, Shelley. What are you thinking?
Nothing to see here, people. Move along.
Is there nothing here but the ramblings of a drunk? Of course there's nothing but ramblings of a drunk. She's just jealous. Jealous of this wonderful marriage. This happily ever after I have with my prince.
Take that trollop out of here immediately! And see to it that she isn't allowed here or anywhere we hold any authority in Luxbourne.
To be banned from anything with the right name on it is basically social suicide. We practically own half of Luxbourne, and there isn't a single establishment of repute that isn't under our patronage, one way or another. This is mercy. I can do much worse to her. At least this way, she can just move out of the city and never ever return. I have stayed my hand in the face of her grievous faults, her bold-faced lies, when she deserves so much more. I can take her out, away her... I could take... fuck. I can't read. I can take away her business, have her factories shut down. It is too easy to ruin her life until she's just nothing. And it is all so tempting. I can only see red. The tension is thick in the air, and the silence that embraces the room is nearly deafening. There are worried and almost fearful glances from some of the guests, yet at the same time, I can still hear them whispering. But as long as they hold their tongues and don't interfere, none of those matter to me. Especially when my darling looks at me with a different shine in his eyes. It almost seems as if he's proud of what I've done, and that spurs me on that more than anything. Yes, the letter. Yes, we are. We're playing the letter. This is your first time here while I'm playing the letter, isn't it, Hitsu? Welcome to the show, Hitsu. Ugh. I'm dying. Hang on, let me check my my bottles. Okay, I have a full bottle of water. Yeah, I do some reading here, voice acting even, because it's an interactive novel, of course.
Everyone, please go back to enjoying the party. Don't let that mess of a woman ruin your night.
You heard her! Strike up the band, maestro, and let us dance like fireflies in the night!
It takes a bit for the crowd to stir again in the face of all that. But like most problems of the elite, it is brushed under the rug and forgotten in favor of merriment. He offers his hands to me with a small smirk and a bow.
Well, that was a mess, wasn't it? And you handled it magnificently.
It happens. We are very important people, are we not?
Milady, would you like to dance?
With pleasure, my prince.
No one is going to get in between me and my darling husband. Not Rochelle or any other rich, snotty scrubber. Not some common whore or an ambitious maid. No one is going to get near him in that manner. Not while I'm around. And if I have anything to say about it, no one is going to get near him at all. Ho 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 ho. We journal. Hannah writes through a party in their penthouse at the sachet. Wait, no, that's not new. That's old. Ugh. Aha, here we go. Oh, that's actually really nice. In the aftermath of Rochelle's accusations, an enraged Hannah banned her former friend from setting foot in any of their properties. Despite what happened, the commotion was brushed off and the party continued. Luke and Hannah were seen dancing sweetly together all night. Oh, beautiful. Cold. Excuse me. Sorry. Had a yawn. The day after proves to be a difficult task. My darling prince is a man of many connections, a man of the people. He is always talking to one person or another, and I am always left alone, unable to stay at his side at all times. It is frustrating, but I have to be understanding. Besides, I don't see why he can't just stay at home. The least I can do is make sure I have his time while he's here, which in and of itself isn't as easy as it sounds. Not with that bloody valet Not with that bloody valet of his tailing him around.
Johans, where's my tie?
Oh.
I can't find it anywhere.
Have you looked around your neck? It should be there if it's not on your clothes horse, sir.
It's just not often that I'm awake this early. At least early enough to find my darling preparing for the day with his valet attending to him. It is an old-fashioned way to go about the morning. He is able to dress himself after all. But he says that it really makes the day easier for him to have someone else do this tedious task, albeit with a grimace. Though, if that manservant of his dislikes the duty so much, I'll gladly do it in his stead.
I've got it, my prince. Come here.
Well, someone's up and at them especially early this morning, huh? Here I thought you'd be knackered by all the dancing we did last night at the party. And after that, well...
Too much information, Luke, but... I'm not complaining. Wow. Jesus. Okay. It puts 18 plus in in my stream, okay? Alright. We get that. Nice. I wonder how well that night was for you as well, Luke. God damn. Oh, jeez. Fuck, what's her name again? Hannah. If Hannah was supposed to be tired from that, then bro, what were you supposed to be? Wouldn't you be tired too? Oh my god. Anyways. A saucy little wink and a smile is what he offers me as I draw close to fix his tie. And when the valet reaches out with his perfume, I quickly take it and shoo him aside. This close, his scent fills me with the smell of white flowers, cocoa, cardamom, and almonds. It is intoxicating. And the sight of the two of us in the vanity mirror is picturesque and perfect. Can I help it if I feel a little resentful that another person gets to do this for Luke every morning when I could have done it myself? No, I can't.
You're dismissed, Shroken. I have this. Go on then. You'll be summoned if you're needed.
There's a curious look, furrowed brows, before any sign of his care is wiped from his expression.
Very well. If you need me, I'll be somewhere that isn't here.
You could have let the man do his job.
And I say there's no need for him. I can take care of you just fine, my prince. Just where are you off to this morning anyway?
I hate the thought of him leaving me. It feels like an eternity without him here, in this lonely place that doesn't feel like a home quite yet. Although the mansion is really growing on me, slowly but surely. I want to be at his side, yet he fails to see such an obvious thing.
Business. Where else?
Why can't you just work from home? You can afford to, can't you?
Business needs a firm hand and a personal touch, Buttercup. Besides, I can't stay cooped up forever in here. I'll go mad.
Well, you'll come back home as soon as possible, won't you? It's so awfully lonely here without you, my prince.
I could. I don't see why I should, though. This hasn't been a problem before. You know I'll come home when I come home.
Just get home as soon as you can. For me, won't you?
No promises. It's business after all. I can't just stand up in the middle of the meeting and tell them the wife wants me home.
Then forget those peasants.
He stops and stares like protrude. What the fuck? Protrude? Wait. Wait, how do I pronounce this word? Man, Google. Google! How the fuck do you pronounce this word? Perturb? I swear to God, if I got that just right then.
Perturbed.
I did. Fucking hell. He stops and stares, looking perturbed for a moment before shaking his head. Is he feeling ill? That's more reason for him to stay here with me, doesn't it? I'm being a good wife, worrying about my husband and all.
Be good, dear, and stay safe. There's been all sorts of dodgy characters seen about the property. I'll be leaving Johans with you, just in case you need anything, and to be on the safe side, okay?
But I don't need a valet. I need you here with me.
I'll be closing a big deal with a pharmaceutical company soon, if things go according to plan. Maybe, after that, I can take a breather for a bit.
No maybes. You have to promise me.
I only need him.
I'm going to be late, Hannah. The longer this takes, the later I'll get home.
Fine. Shall I see you out?
If that's what you want.
At the front door, his valet waits, ready to accompany him for the rest of the day when he's told to stay and attend to me. I still don't like it. It looks like he doesn't either. But I ignore him in favor of the one who really matters. I hold Luke's hand in mine and give him a deep kiss. It makes my heart flutter as I see the way he closes his eyes during our moment of passion. Parting for air, I can only smile.
Have a good day, my prince.
Right. Off I go.
The way he says that, bro, kinda sus, I'm not gonna lie. I so don't want him to leave. He should just stay. Forever.
If you could let go of my hand, please, Hannah.
It's just so hard to let go when I finally have him in my grasp. To watch him enter his car and leave pains me so. It leaves behind an aching, gaping hole like a hunger and a need. I'm not content until he returns.
If it fits you, breakfast is ready in the parlor, madam.
If anything, I'll be in a foul mood until he returns.
Leave and go practice your bloody sodomy elsewhere.
Peculiar.
When I turn around to hiss at him to leave, he's already gone, and that suits me just fine. I want to be alone, without anyone to... I can't read. I want to be alone, without anyone bothering me. I want to be alone with myself and my thoughts, with only these holes as company. These damned holes which will hold our memories, just he and I. There's no one else I need but my prince. Not some cheeky servant who's just living it up because he's Luke's right-hand man. Rubbish like him deserves nothing. He deserves to be thrown and locked in. The attic. Without realizing it, my feet had brought me here. This empty, lifeless room disgusts me. The longer I stare at it, the harder it gets to breathe, as if the walls are moving in on me. Yet, at the same time, it pulls me in. I hear whispering and curiosity gets the better of me as I look under the bed. Why would you look under the bed? No. I don't want to see. I don't want to see. I don't want to see. Bro, I don't want to see. There on the far corner, a loose floorboard. The wood, despite having swelled and warped over the years, is strangely familiar, comforting in its feel. Though it's not merely what my hands search for as I reach for it. It takes quite an effort, but soon enough, I am able to lift it. And inside, underneath the dust and cobwebs, oh thank God, lies a pendant, warm and familiar. And I swear, if I just close my eyes, I can feel it beating in my palm. I feel a thrill, though I also feel like a thief for taking this. But it's mine. So without delay, I hide it in our room. I actually hate that room. That room is horrifying. Hannah was being extra clingy to her husband and grew easily irritated whenever someone would go near him, including their butler. While wandering the mansion, she found an old locket hidden under the attic's bed. Excuse me. Ecstatic over her rare find, she immediately wore it, replacing the Evans heirloom she had always kept. What? She replaced her heirloom for that thing? Goddamn. In front of the vanity, I see the ways my eyes shine as I remove the clasp. Wait, what? Hang on. In front of the vanity, I see the ways my eyes shine as I remove the clasp of my old necklace and put on this new one. It fits a lot better than the old one. I can feel it as it weighs on my chest.
Right where it belongs.
That's horrifying. That's horrifying. Oh, why the humming? Zack Steele. Birth date March 20th. Pisces, 31 years old. Height 6 foot, 183 centimeters. Occupation freelance photographer. Nationality, I'm literally talking really fucking loudly to drown out the humming. Nationality American. Religion agnostic. Education diploma in digital film. Likes pie, photography, and filmography. Documentaries, cooking, acoustic guitar, video games. Before his parents died, he lived in New Jersey where his family owned a diner and bakery. He and his older sister were orphans due to a hate crime, and they were forced to move to England, where their grandparents lived. He had loved cooking and helping out with their old diner, but grew lazy and disinterested after the incident. It did not help that he was one of the few blacks in a predominantly white community at the time. Predominantly, goddamn that fucking word. His passion for the visual arts was sparked when. What the hell is that noise? What are they doing up there? What the fuck? There's like knocking upstairs. The fuck are they doing? Stop it. I'm trying to read. Your knocking is very distracting. His passion for the visual arts was sparked when he found old Polaroids and home movies of his parents. Freelancing helped pay his rent, and the man had long set his sight on the indie film scene. It was during the creation of his first documentary that a robbery occurred, and Ashton was there to investigate. Being in the wrong place at the wrong time led to Zachary being placed as a suspect, but the rookie detective helped him clear his name. The aroma hits me long before I cross the threshold. Faint, but light and warm. A reminder of what home is. Pa's stern but commending gaze, Ma's tender smiles, and the sunlight filtering through the eaves in the morning. And the distinct smell of cinnamon and vanilla as it drifts through the air every time something cooks from the room. The room, our room, Ma and Pa's pride and joy. My sister and I, too, eventually. But we ain't allowed there. Not yet. Not until we're taller or older. Not until we've learned how to take care of ourselves and not burn our hands or reach the cupboards without having to be lifted.
But a little peek wouldn't hurt, yeah?
The floorboards are cold under my feet, more than it usually is. The walls more forbidding than what I'm used to. Farther and farther the room goes. Ma's singing ceases, and Pa.
No, please wait. I'll be good. I'll sleep on time. Don't go.
I can't hear Pa. Not above the race. What the fuck? I can't read that word. Bruh, you're interrupting the vibe with the stupidness of these words.
Raucous.
Ruckus? Not above the raucous clanging and the deafening roar of gunshots, nor the screams replacing the comforting soft melodies. There is only the blinding fear. When my foot slips, the Red Sea that catches me is bitter and frigid, but the blood that drips in my hands is warm, warm, warm. It ain't my blood. The walls tumble, and everything goes quiet. I wake up. The few notes, while muffled, are enough to wake me. It takes a few moments for everything to fall into place, for my eyes to adjust to the light streaming into the room. Despite the pleasant chill of the AC brings, my shirt is clinging tightly to me, and my blanket is a tangled mess around my throat. It's one of those nights again, when sleep passes in a blink and is plagued with vague fuzzy thoughts. I like his mat. It's a fish. Can you see that in the right here? It's kind of cute. I lift a hand to rub away the drowsiness from my eyes, although it does little to relieve the gritting, burning sensation from my eyelids. Outside, the sun has yet to peek over the horizon, but night has already given way to the cool morning light, washing everything in the subtle gray hues. At this hour, the entire city remains unstirring. Ordinarily, waking up before my own alarm means abusing the snooze button twice or thrice just to catch those precious few extra minutes of sleep. But the persistent ringing makes it impossible now.
This better be good.
Groggily, I scrambled to the bag sitting at the foot of my bed. The ringing still hasn't stopped, even as I fish the phone out, and Ash's name flashes brightly on the screen and when I turn it on. Must be pretty urgent if he hasn't dropped the call yet.
Where are you?
Ashton, it's 6 in the morning. Sun hasn't even risen. Hell, my brain ain't even awake yet. What do you need?
Get your ass here, pronto.
Here? Hold on. Can't this wait until I'm actually awake?
No, Rebecca's not.
His voice hitches, and I fail to catch the last word of what he says over the sudden racket on the other side of the line. When the noise dies down, however, he doesn't continue. This abrupt change in his tone, the unexpected hesitance to speak, puts me on edge. And a different kind of anxiety clings to me. Something's wrong.
Here is where, Ash.
Ermengarde Memorial Hospital. ER. Becca's already there. I need to be off somewhere. Just get there. Please.
He drops the call before I can ask more. Maybe it's just me, or my sleep what the fuck? What is that? What is that? What is this?
Addled.
Wow, okay, I wasn't wrong. Or my sleep-addled brain, but in that short moment, he sounds almost as if he's pleading. The thought alone does not ease the lump that dread of what the fuck? Of my horrific reading. The thought alone does not ease the lump of dread gripping my insides already heavy with fear. But despite the questions currently swimming inside my head, I waste no time in getting dressed. The rest of the day's planned and scheduled meetings effectively forgotten. Whatever lies ahead, I hope this ain't one of those times when my intuition is right. The scent of hospitals never did grow on me. Too fresh, too medicinal, too sterile. And if I am to go down the more morbid train of thought, I'd say the air smells a little like blood and death if one pays closer attention. It's not entirely terrible in itself. Just that scent alone is enough to bring out old memories, mostly unpleasant. Excuse me. I'm not saying the recent birth of my niece is one, of course. That has been a good milestone for both me and my sister's family. It's simply unfortunate that the disinfectant has to be everywhere for something anyone wants to commit to memory.
Did Isabella ever feel this way when she visits her father?
The same odor assaults my senses as I make my way through the corridors in search of the ER. Recently renovated, according to one of the guards, I asked for directions. Considering how long the place has been around, I'm not surprised they already made plans to modernize. Gotta keep up with the times, they said, especially for a place where lives are saved. I don't have time to admire the new work, though. Soon, the person I'm searching for comes to view. Rebecca is sitting still on one of the few benches lining the hall, her head bowed and her shoulders rising and falling in a slow rhythm with her breathing. A pile of papers of various other personal effects have been arranged neatly beside her. And is that blood on those? I try to ignore the foreboding feeling it sends me as I reach for her to shake her awake.
Rebecca, I'm here. Wake up.
She opens her eyes at the second tap, along with a small yawn of her own. In the hospital's bright light, the dark circles under her eyes are more noticeable. Her voice is still rough with sleep when she greets me.
Zack, did Ash call you in?
Pretty much. Woke me up, actually. Said it was urgent. What happened?
He didn't tell you?
Not really. He just said I needed to be here. Is everything all right? It sounded pretty urgent when he called. The way that guy phrased it, I thought for sure you had gotten into an accident or something.
Rebecca shifts in her chair, smooths a hand over her face, and lets out a sigh, weighted enough with fatigue as she does so.
I'm sorry, Zachary. It's just been a long night. I don't really know how I'm supposed to break this to you. Ashton should be the one doing this, but...
The guy's busy again. No worries. You could tell me anything.
No, it's Isabella.
I'm afraid I can't quite follow, ma'am.
You weren't entirely wrong. But it wasn't me, obviously. Last night, she got into an accident. A car accident.
I don't know if you guys remember this. Last time we saw Isabella, you were hit by a car.
She was hurt pretty bad, and they had to rush her here.
A lump has suddenly lodged itself in my throat, making it difficult to get the next words out.
How bad exactly are we talking about here, Rebecca?
Critical. But I don't know. I didn't see her myself. When I came here, she was already in the ER. Has been since last night. The doctors haven't said anything since then.
And Ash?
He's looking into the crash. He hasn't called again, but he promised to keep us updated.
Another heavy sighs come out of her. Abruptly, she stands and starts pacing, her trembling fingers laced tightly together in front of her. She continues for a good minute, threading the halls in short, uneven steps before stopping and pressing both her palms over her eyes. As if that alone will be enough to stave off her exhaustion.
I called her out, you know? I promised I'll treat her to dinner if she gets out of her room. I was only hoping it would cheer her up after the news. The one about her co-worker yesterday. And now, I should have just kept my mouth shut. If I did, then maybe she'd still be...
Hey, don't blame yourself. You had no idea this would happen. An accident is an accident. If there's someone you should hold responsible for this, it's that ass who ran her over. Ash will find that guy, don't worry.
I wish it were that easy. God, it's one after another, Zachary. And no one will tell me anything. I came in here asking for her, and all they said was, "She's in critical condition, ma'am." What are we supposed to do? I want to do something. I need to do something.
Oh my god, the game's actually really loud in my ears. I have to lower the volume on my end. I'm not sure how good the volume is on you guys' end. If it's too loud, do tell me. I'll just lower the volume.
But I can't. Not when she's still in there. Still fighting for her life.
I wish I can give her the answer she wants to hear right now. But that has always been the hardest part in circumstances like this. Always out of our control. Always out of our hands. The least I can say to her right now is, you need to take a break, there's nothing we can do. Fuck! Well, this is, fuck. She does need a break, but we can't just tell her you need a break. Bro, can't do this to me. I hate having these choices. Okay. I'll say there's nothing we can do because it's true. There is nothing we can do. Ah! Fuck! Well then, perhaps it hasn't. Perhaps it just hasn't sunk in yet. Or it's my own uneasiness over what's happening. But what comes out of my mouth next is one thing I soon come to regret the second the second it's in the open.
We can't really do anything about it right now.
She stares, glares, if we're looking for the right word, at me. And like this, it doesn't require too much of my imagination to see the teacher in her. Give me a sec, my lips are chapped. All of a sudden, I'm 12 again, getting a reprimand for slacking off, or not paying attention, or doing something else in class.
There must be something, Zachary. We can't just.
Yet the way her voice falters tells a different kind of story. Rebecca's sharp. She knows. The moment she got here, she knows how much this whole thing titters dangerously on the side of futile.
Look, Rebecca, I get you. I get how bad everything looks. I get how frustrated you are over this. But as much as I want to be useful, there's only a handful we can do right now. And if there's one thing situations like this has taught me, I think it's best to prepare for the worst.
I don't want to go there. Not yet.
I'm not saying we should. It's too early. I'd like to believe she'll make it through despite the odds. But these are pretty high odds. And you know what they say? The less you cling to it, the easier it'll be to accept. If she's just in case.
That's kind of realistic, but it's kind of sad to think about it sometimes. When you're like in the hospital and waiting for someone's condition to be announced, to think about whether you're gonna lose them or not is a hard thought. But it does happen, and sometimes you do actually have to prepare for the worst, whether you like it or not. We let the silence fall and the words hang between us. Because the truth in those feels more tangible than what little hope we're both clinging to. Somewhere far off the hall, I can almost hear the faint beeping of machines. Which one's Isabella's, I wonder? How is she doing? How long are we supposed to wait? Will she pull through? But it's always the waiting, ain't it? More than the fretting, it is always the long, excruciating hours that follow, blurring everything in between and slowing it down. By the point we've both drank through our third cup of coffee, we've already lost track of the seconds, the minutes we've spent sitting here. There's no idle chatter between us, only companionship and what little support we could give each other. Which is not much, considering how long the two of us have known each other. Better of Ash to be here instead of me, or Isabella, if only she didn't have a different battle to fight right now. Then again, we won't be here if she ain't. When the door finally creaks open and the voice calls for us, none of the world shifts back into focus the way I'm expecting it would. It's Rebecca who handles it with much patience and tact, while I sit here on the sides. It is her who faces the nurse, who listens to him, who nods and wordlessly follows when he gestures for us to do so, all in spite of the weariness beating down on her. A different kind of burden now after that talk. I'm almost too afraid to ask. Oh my god, so this is when she went for dinner, and then this is the day after. The timeline is a little bit off because some things happen like way after, but it helps you get a gist of where everything is. So yeah, this is just a day after the accident. Zachary received an alarming phone call from Ashton, telling him to go to the Ermengarde Memorial Hospital immediately. An exhausted Rebecca informed him that Isabella had got into a car crash. In a critical state, she had been put into an induced coma to keep her alive. Excuse me. She loved this room. The moment the nurse opens the door, the soft late morning sunlight greets us from the sole window. I know she would. It might be a little inappropriate to think about now, but if she's well, Isabella will say the same thing. She has, after all, always favored the sun. Reminds her of a little of home, she said. It reminds me a little of her, too, to be frank. In the background, the heart monitor beeps faintly in a steady rhythm. She's not an easy sight to see, covered in bandages, a thick cast on her leg and neck, with all these wires and tubes attached to her. She looks nothing but frail like this. But still, too still. She's never still, and yet here she is, her breathing too quiet for comfort even as the ventilator pumps oxygen into her.
They have to keep monitoring her.
But she's okay now? We'll just have to wait?
Not exactly. She isn't out of the woods yet.
But alive, right? I mean, she's here. Even with all this stuff attached to her, she's gonna be fine, yeah?
She lets out a breath, probably the 13th one since I joined her, and flops unceremoniously on a nearby chair. Carefully, she reaches up and gives Isabella's bandaged hand a light squeeze. I'm not sure if that means to be an encouragement for the patient or her. But for all her hesitance, I'm glad it's Rebecca who has to break whatever this news is. If this is Ashton, he drops that without any sort of preamble. No. What is this word?
Preamble.
Okay, I was right. Preamble. Man, we're really in a bad spot, huh? Yeah, one of the characters is already got into a car crash, and it's the first character out of everybody. So, yeah. For a detective looking to get answers, it works. For people waiting on the edge, it doesn't always.
I don't know. I honestly don't know anymore. The doctors, they had to put her in an induced coma. They had to after the seizures. It wasn't looking good. Something about the trauma and the head injury from the accident did that. I know I should have listened better. I'm sorry, Zachary. Half of it didn't even sink in. All I understood was she's on life support now, but they aren't expecting her to make it. Her chances aren't good from the start.
I know I said we should prepare for the worst, but that's still... Someone has got to tell them they can't just...
I did, all right. Already did. I told them to get their asses together. Even made a promise to try.
But you mentioned they still have to monitor her. That means they haven't given up on her, right?
They haven't. I insisted. But with how things are, they said she might never wake up. And if she ever does, she might not be the same anymore. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I was angry when I told them that, and it just came out of my mouth. Maybe they're right. Maybe I should have just let them...
You did the right thing, Rebecca.
You don't know that. What if she doesn't want this? Do you see all of these? Wires and tubes and bandages everywhere. She's barely herself, clinging to dear life as it is. She can't even hear us. Doesn't even know there are people here worried sick for her.
The point is she's still here. Don't beat yourself up over what ifs. This ain't over for her, alright? I've seen people recover from even worse. Have some faith in her.
I do have faith in her.
You know what? I think this is just a lack of sleep talking. You been here since when? Last night? Go get some rest, Miss Gales.
But Isabella's...
I'll take care of her, don't you worry. We can do shifts if you want, but go home first. We'll talk about that later when you ain't looking like you're about to fall apart. If you keep going like this, you're the one who'll end up here next.
The rebuttal I'm expecting from her, for even suggesting the idea, doesn't come. To my surprise, she merely chuckles.
This feels like a conversation I had with Isabella a few days ago. I said the exact same thing to her.
Then maybe it's a sign you should rest. Let me take over from now.
Maybe. But I'll keep that in mind. Are you sure you'll be fine alone? I'll come back this evening. So if you need anything picked up, I can get it for you.
Nah, no problem on that front. Besides, if I do need something, my apartment's just a few blocks away. Skip and a hop, that's all I need. Focus on getting some sleep. Let me take care of this for a few hours. Do it for everyone's sake,
Will do. Thanks, Zachary. If something changes with her, promise me you'll call.
You'll be the first one to know, ma'am. Well, if it comes to that. I hope the news I bring will be better than the one we got this morning. Crazy thing having to wake up to this.
I hope so too. I'll see you later.
Rebecca manages a weak smile before turning and heading out of the room. When the door clicks shut behind her, it is just with a little finality. Like saying it won't be the last. That our stay here won't be as brief as we're all hoping. Beside me, the beeping from the machines remain unceasing. The distinct, familiar scent pervading the room persists as it wraps itself into the room's only occupant. Altogether, a different memory burns itself in my mind. There is something personal in the melody slowly threading itself into my consciousness. A hum, pleasant in every note, lingers in the air and carries with every shift. It reminds me of our room, of a little place my sister and I once called home, and of a promise made several springs ago, back when our walls are bare and everything still foreign and new. The soft rustle wakes me long before I could fully remember. Someone is speaking in the room. In hushed whispers, muttering words like a secret not meant for my ears to hear.
This is stupid.
It takes a little while for the recognition to sink in and remind myself where I am. But sure enough, when I shift my gaze up, Ashton's there, leaning casually against the edge of the bed, arms folded across his chest, while sporting a pensive expression on his face. I'd say it's close to wistful, but this is Ash. And with the room's light dimmed down, no one really can't tell.
Hey, Ash.
If my sudden movement surprised him, it only showed in the slight lift of his eyebrows before he acknowledges me with a small nod.
How long have you been here?
Just came in a few seconds ago.
Oh, sorry. I didn't hear you.
Figures. It's not a problem. You probably need to rest anyway.
You're the one talking. You look like shit.
That's one way to greet somebody.
So I've been told.
Seriously, how long have you been up?
18, 20 hours or so? It doesn't matter. I'll get some shut-eye later. Where's Rebecca?
I sent her home early, but she'll be back too.
Both of us turn just in time to see Rebecca ease the door open and step inside. She's brought a traveling bag with her, and from the way she transfers its load to her other hand, it's heavy enough with things for maybe 2 or so days worth of sleeping out. I don't know what to say to that, quite frankly. Or if I'm even supposed to question her about it. Ashton no doubt has a remark or two about it, but any of us could comment. But before any of us could comment, she raises her hand to stop us.
It's not mine.
3 words, and they are all telling enough. Just like that, an awkward silence descends in the room. All of a sudden, just the mention of her has become some sort of taboo between us. Funny, when she's just lying a few inches away from us. God knows if she's even aware of us. Even in this quiet, I can hear her laughing. We're making a big deal out of this, she'll say. It isn't anyone's fault, but it's obvious that one way or another, each of us holds our own selves responsible for what happened, however irrational that sounds. Plenty of what ifs, should have, and could haves going around. It's almost stifling.
Always prepared, ain't you?
I just packed what she'll be needing for a few days. I figured it'll be easier for me to bring her things since I live next door. Go take a break now, Zachary. I'll stay with her until tomorrow when her aunt gets here. She's flying over from the other side of the country. Heard she had to file a leave to get here as soon as possible. Oh, what a mess all of this is.
Don't you have class tomorrow? You sure about that?
I can always call for a leave too. I've got plenty since I rarely ever use those. Someone has to stay here after.
No, I'll take it from here.
It's not that his offer is in any way unexpected. It's not even in the way he delivers it. Ash may seem distant to other people, rude to some, downright embarrassing to a few, but to those he keeps close, I'm positive he'll never hesitate to show some willingness to help. He cares. He really does. Simply in his own, unorthodox way. I'm sure Rebecca is aware of this, too, more than anyone. But the tight expression on her face, her strained grip on the bag, and the stiff line on her shoulders just suggest a different kind of understanding. Even a sharp, biting tone her voice takes despite the meaning in her words.
You don't have to do that. Zachary and I can handle this for a few days.
Both of you already had your turn with this. It wouldn't hurt to have another person helping out.
This isn't some sort of a competition, Ash. We're doing this because someone has to be here for her.
I'm not making this one. I just volunteered, didn't I?
Don't you have an investigation to finish?
Oh my god, Rebecca! Jesus! Calm down! Let him have his turn.
And Zack has freelance gigs in line for the next few days. You have students to teach. Don't push it, Becca. All 3 of us have things to take care of on our own. But between us, it should be easier to find some time to...
Fine. Good.
Her voice is almost too quiet. Like the calm on the eve of a brewing storm.
Do what you want.
She doesn't give him a chance to get another word in. In 3 steps, she closes the distance between them and hands him the bag, with a little more force than necessary in my opinion. Then, with nothing more than a sharp glare at him, she marches out the door. Maybe it's just me, but in the brief instance our eyes met, hiding behind the flash of anger is hurt. Did something happen when I wasn't looking? It certainly doesn't seem that way from the way Ash is acting. Just so you know, this man is oblivious. Rebecca likes him, but he doesn't really know. But he likes Isabella. So he's fucking stupid. Okay, so let's hang on. Wait. Actually, this is the easiest way. So Isabella, the one in the bed, she's kind of neutral at the moment. At least when we were playing her, I don't remember her liking anybody. Ashton likes Isabella. Rebecca likes Ashton. She's kind of obvious with it, sort of. But Ashton has no idea. But yeah, that's yeah, those three. Yeah, that's that thing. So we have to play Mary Ann, Rebecca, Ashton, and Luke still. And Isabella's in the bed. She's gone insane, I guess. Alright. It certainly doesn't seem that way from the way Ash is acting.
You go ahead, Zack. I'll take over for now.
You sure this is fine?
Yeah, sure. It's not like this is a hard task. I'll probably get more sleep here than if I stay at the precinct or in my car. I'll call when something changes with Isabella, if that's what you're concerned about.
You ain't worried?
About what?
I'd say Rebecca, but he doesn't seem to have noticed earlier's exchange. Regardless, I'm not the kind of person who finds joy in prying, and it's certainly none of my business. On top of that, we have Isabella here, bedridden. Rebecca's right. It's one problem after another, and to be truthful, I kinda want to ask for a little breathing room already. But that ain't how it's going. That ain't how it always goes, ain't it?
This, everything, the accident. I don't know. You tell me. You were there, weren't you?
That gives him a pause. His hands stop short of placing the bag on the table. Judging by the conflicted look on his face, he doesn't know how to respond to that. Yet,
About this, I'll figure it out. Don't worry. I'll find out myself who did this and make sure that bastard gets his just desserts.
So you do have an idea who?
Vaguely, but nothing conclusive yet. I'd rather not say anything until we've got everything sorted out. It's a huge mess. This and that other case. It might even be related for all we know. Thinking about it gives me a headache.
he lifts his hand and pinches the bridge of his nose. His eyes are squeezed tight in what's perhaps a struggle not to overthink. Or keep whatever frustration he feels at a considerable distance, preferably far enough so he can think clearly. When he's like this, it's better to leave him alone with his thoughts. But as I'm about to pull the door open, ready to take my leave, he calls out.
Do me a favor, Zack. Make sure you keep away from the rights this time. Tell Rebecca the same thing.
The name rings a bell, though at present I can't recall where I've heard it recently. Nevertheless, I nod, if only to give him some peace of mind. This guy already has enough on his plate.
I'll remember that. See you later.
If you catch up to Becca, make sure she gets home safe.
Will do. Go get some sleep yourself.
I throw him one last look, even though at this point I'm not sure what I'm searching for on his face. Reassurance? Some sort of encouragement or proof that everything will be alright? I won't dare ask anymore. Not when he's doing this, looking forlorn and like as if he's failed a lot of people. One person in particular. Oop, journal. Woo! Alright, good luck with your permit test. Kisses for you too, lovely. Alright. Zack volunteered to watch over Isabella while Rebecca got some rest. That night, Ashton and Rebecca visited and ended up in an argument over who should take over the watch from Zack. And in the end, Rebecca stormed out and left an insistent Ashton to it. Can't read. Alright. With one last wave, I closed the door behind me, leaving wishes of hope and a whole slew of unspoken remorse and concern in the room. My apartment is a more welcoming sight than after everything. Although it's small and begs for a little cleaning and repair, As it's at the end of the day, the closet, I have to what the fuck? I can't fucking read. Give me a second. My wrist is currently really fucking uncomfortable. I'm gonna take my watch off because I'm wearing a really floofy coat with a tight sleeve. Like at the end of the sleeve, it's kind of more constricted. So it's squishing my watch onto my wrist. Oh my gosh. It's a bit more comfortable now, I guess. Alright. Although it's small and begs for a little cleaning and repair, it is, at the end of the day, the closest I have to a respite. Respite? Respite, sure. Sure, my sister would have a thing or two to say about the mess every time she visits, but it's still home to me. A mild draft sweeps into the room as I close the door behind me, slightly disturbing the papers on the nearby fridge. Most of them schedules, lists, and tasks for the next few days. Something to keep me busy while I sort myself out. And now with what happened to Isabella, something to temporarily take my mind off things. A lone note flutters by my feet, the letters on the surface glaring at me with mute intensity. Ermengarde, H. Wright, 11 a.m. for luxury living. Boo-doo-doo-doo. Zachary headed straight home after a long day. A photo shoot with Hannah Wright at the Ermengarde mansion was on his schedule for tomorrow. After Ashton's warning about the couple, he now felt anxious for the whole thing. Oh yeah, she did. She did meet him. But she didn't go crazy until the 28th, so it's fine. It's still fine. The next 2 days rushed by in a blur, altogether leaving a collective mess of work suddenly piling up and new unexpected acquaintances, or friends? Depends on how you look at it, really. Either way, I'm stuck developing these photos at 3 in the morning to reach a deadline set by an overeager art director. Don't get me wrong, Julius is good, has a vision, and knows what he wants, but damn, he can be too enthusiastic sometimes.
Doesn't matter when you couldn't sleep anyway.
There is nothing new in it, of course. After years of working as a freelance photographer, it's simply something I've grown used to. Get to know people, build a client base, do good work, and cash in some late hours if need be. Rinse and repeat. It certainly takes a while to get some footing on the field, but it's the kind of thing that pays off in the long run as long as you keep at it. Given enough time, you might end up with big names on your client list. Names like the Wrights in particular. I never paid much attention to them, but it's virtually impossible not to hear about them when a local news channel or paper has something to say on their name. Party here and accusation there. Sometimes it's a new business venture. Other times it's the everyday gossip that typically follows popular people like them. Not in a million years did I ever imagine I would end up working for such a high-profile couple. Oh, excuse me. And between that and the fuss that comes with, it leaves me no time to ponder over whatever happened to Isabella or why Ashton was so adamant we keep away from the pair.
They do seem like the good folk, though, despite the whole fame thing.
Sure, there was a rumor running around years ago about him being involved in some business scandal, but just like every gossip blown out of proportion by the media, nothing came of it, and eventually, it simply died down. Much is definitely left to be said for the husband, but I doubt a woman like Mrs. Wright would pick him if he doesn't have any good points at all. Miss Wright, Hannah herself, though. She ain't particularly bad the way the press makes her out to be. The tabloids had it all wrong, that's for sure. For someone born with a silver spoon in her mouth, well, she ain't exactly what I was expecting. Among other things, the newfound friendship is what I least expected from her, but here we are. Although with a life as public as the Wrights, no wonder it's the woman who often gets the crappy end of the stick. I can't help but feel sorry for her. She's a real nice person when given the chance. Heck, she might have even ended up friends with Rebecca and Isabella too, if they weren't living worlds apart. Probably. A beep quickly pulls me back from before my thoughts travel any further. In one practice motion, I carefully place the wet print I'm holding on a dry rack and amble over my makeshift darkroom to get the last photo from the water bath. Inside the converted broom closet, the film processor lets out another soft clack before going on its standby mode. At its mouth, a lone photograph sits in the tray, barely visible with the lack of light. It's the last one. What? I can't read. It's the last one tonight for the set Mrs. Wright requested. I don't usually make it a habit giving away stuff that is. It's bad for business, no matter how well-intentioned or generous you are. This exception, however, she did treat me well and was a pleasant companion when all throughout the photo shoot. Even if she didn't ask, I would have probably given her a few prints just for the hell of it. Mrs. Wright ain't such a bad subject matter to begin with. And maybe maybe this is just me, but for someone who has everything at the palm of her hands, all the money in the world, a loving husband, and a plenty big mansion to call home, she's lonely. She doesn't appear like it. She didn't just appear like it. It shows in the tone of her voice, how she moves, and most certainly in her smiles. Always hiding behind the glamour of the world to never see. Sometimes. Excuse me. Sometimes for people like her, small things like these helps. A little reminder that the world can be kind too. Water drips from the paper as I blindly pick up the photo and gently lay it in the other tray, holding a decent amount of photo flow. A few seconds under solution is all it needs before it's ready for drying. No good rushing this last one, even if my body's already screaming for some decent snooze. My hand fumbles for the light switch, moving towards it with familiarity, while I fish for the squidgy amongst the mess of tools on a drawer with the other. The bulb flickers twice before a glow settles and casts a soft light in the tiny space. When I glance back down, the squidgy in my hand, ready to finish the process and finally call it a night.
What on earth?
Her head is gone. Blurred and distorted beyond recognition, rather. The area completely smudged over, leaving no trace of the same sweet smile the good woman carried in all the previous prints.
Damn, that was too careless.
A common mistake to make, of course. If one is negligent enough to pick up a newly processed photo in the dark... A common mistake to make, of course. If one is negligent enough to pick up a newly processed photo in the dark, like I apparently did. It has happened before. Loads of times, actually. That's horrifying, though. But I still can't help but feel a small pang of frustration over one mistake a newbie would likely make. With a sigh, I reached up for the switch again, intending to develop a new one from scratch.
It could pass off for one of those supernatural pictures they show on TV, though.
A memory clicks. One cursoring thought in a sea of many, and a short yet distinct second from the day before. A glimpse of all I got is all I got, but it's enough to burn an image in my mind. There was a shadow. No, a woman. In her 20s or early 30s maybe. But with however far gone her flesh alone has become, it's not possible to tell at first glance. Her skin itself has already taken a sickly pale color, rotten in most parts, blood dripping from every open gash and lesions on her body. Bony hands gripping Mrs. Wright's neck like a noose, staining the skin underneath with a vibrant shade of scarlet. Nothing but malice fills the gleam in her eyes.
Zachary?
Not for me, but for Mrs. Wright.
Zack, is something the matter?
Oh, no, there's nothing wrong. I just remembered something, that's all. Let's get back to the pictures. Can you move a bit more to the left, yeah?
Ugh. I hate that. Bruh, the noises she makes. Oh, disgusting! Oh, fucking hell. Some of Hannah's shots from the photo shoot the day before came out distorted after Zachary developed them. He would have almost dismissed it as human error if he hadn't remembered the chilling memory from yesterday's shoot. The memory alone is enough to make me retch. I brush it off then. A trick of the eye, I told myself, or a product of heat. The weather has been unexpectedly warm recently, so it shouldn't be too surprising for such things to happen. And well, blaming this on the usual fatigue, an overworked brain, the weather, or an amateur error on my part is far more convenient. It makes a whole lot of sense than what the small voice inside my head whispers. A small tiny voice that only makes itself known when something's afoul, the same one that lent a curious ear to Isabella's worries about the mansion. And with each second I spent staring at this photograph, the murmurs in my head only grow louder against my ear. Someone has to know. Hannah will be crazy by tomorrow. Let's show Ash. Nothing happened. Ash will give me a fleck for this. He will. I can already hear what he's going to say about this the moment I bring it up. Hell, before he even sees anything, I'll wager. The guy is a skeptic, though. The guy's a skeptic through and through, and it'll make more than my account for him to even consider this. But when you've been there, seen something enough to raise hairs on the back of your neck and leave wanting to flee or hide, what he thinks is the least of my concerns. I'm no hero. That title's best reserved for someone else. Still, if this'll help him change his mind, it's worth a try. It won't change what happened to Isabella, but she certainly won't wish for anything to happen to us either. Outside, the sun has yet to rise. I've still got a few hours before dawn. Good enough time to mull over how I'll go about things with him. Plenty of space to check if I'll get the same result if I redo the process again. The film processor hums back to life as I at my touch. The light switch gives out a soft click and darkness embraces the small closet again.
Somehow those urban legends don't sound so silly now.
Oh my god. Sometimes I wish Ash would make himself easier to find. 24 messages, 13 phone calls, and 1 visit to his flat later. I still have no idea which rock in Luxburn he went off to hide under again. The guy has his own place, but refuses to stay in it. He has his own phone, but he doesn't answer any of his calls or give it any indication he's gotten my messages. Most of the time, he'll just show up on my front door. Sometimes in the middle of the night, complaining how uncomfortable it is to sleep in the back of his Shirley, his car. As if the old couch on my flat is any better. Nothing's new from him, though, but a bit frustrating, really. There's the police precinct, of course. Then again, he's not there most of the time either. And if that's also true for today, he's likely out on another stakeout. Hello, Nana. Welcome to the show. Hello, Auntie. Thanks so much. Wow. Okay, I guess I have a new title. Also, I'm gonna change the dynamic lighting again because I'm an indecisive piece of shit. I'm just gonna see what it looks like on 0.5. 0.05, sorry. Correction. Let's try that, see what happens. Because usually it's on 0, so we'll see. There's nothing much to do for me but to wait, if that's the case.
Let's just hope I'm lucky enough today.
Well, Luxport, how am I doing? I'm doing good. I have my throat's starting to go a little bit, so I better hydrate. But we're doing good today. We're doing good. A lot of reading today, which is fine. Thanks for the hydrate, Nana. Oh my god, you're such a lovely little niece. Yeah. I have to do a lot of hydrating today because there's a lot of reading involved today. So this game is interactive novel. Okay. While Luxbarn is a relatively peaceful city boasting a low crime rate, its precinct stays abuzz with activity. As soon as I open the glass front doors, murmurs coming from the people waiting in the lobby welcome me. Officers can occasionally be seen shuffling in and out of the rooms, greeting civilians with a casual smile and a polite nod. Some, though, look a little worse for wear. Like their receptionist who looked at me with much disdain the moment I arrived. Thankfully, I won't have to deal with him today. Before I can even step in, Ashton's voice, though low, comes from the hallway adjacent to the lobby.
Not even for just 1 minute?
No. The case was dismissed, remember?
You were the one handling that case.
If you want access to those records, you've got to ask Chief. I was taken off it before shit went to hell. Why do you even bother? Even Professor Clark seems to have given up on that.
Ash is kind of cute, not gonna lie. He is kind of cute, but then you have him on screen and he looks horrible. His model is not that nice, but his still art is beautiful.
Well, never mind, you won't understand.
Right. I know you owe Professor Clark a lot, but the right guy isn't just someone you mess with. They've got the money. Who knows what else gets swept under the rug with them involved.
That takes a special kind of ignorant not to know.
And a smart person to know which boundaries he can't cross. You're a bright guy, you'll figure it out. In any case, I've got to get going. Another missing person case on my hand. Benjamin on the front desk looks like he's about to maul someone after the 4th one yesterday. Murders, people missing, what a time to be alive. Man, I miss the old Luxburn.
You and me both. I'll see ya. Gonna go grab some lunch.
Do you see the difference? Do you see the difference? He notices me first as soon as he enters the lobby and pauses. Confusion briefly crosses his face until I fish out the phone from my pocket and wave it up. Frowning, he pulls his own mobile phone out, wordlessly fiddling with it for a few seconds before sighing heavily. There ain't any annoyance in him when he glances up, though. Only mild exasperation and what might be a hint of amusement. Though underneath all that, there's something else too. Hiding subtly in the dark circles under his eyes, his slumped posture, and partly unkempt appearance.
Sorry, I haven't gotten a chance to check any of my messages yet. I was looking up something.
You sure you can still step out like that?
Yeah, no problem. I need to get out anyway. What are you doing here in the first place?
Well, I was hoping you could check something for me, but you don't appear to be...
He stops me with a tap on my shoulder, walks past me straight to the door, and gestures with his head towards their very irked receptionist when I raised my eyebrow in question.
Over lunch. I haven't eaten anything since last night, and Benjamin there doesn't really like loiterers around here.
Wordlessly, I follow after him, but not after... Excuse me. But not after sending the poor guy behind the table an apologetic smile. As expected, he takes a seat in the farthest corner of the cafe, a good way from the window, but easily allows a view of who comes and goes. Secluded enough not to be disturbed by the lunch hour rush, or be overheard by curious bystanders. Thank you, Nana. If I didn't know this is lunch he invited me to, I would automatically assume I got dragged into another stakeout. After years of knowing him, though, this has simply become one of his many habits. This has simply become one of the many habits I've gotten used to. Whoa! Oh my god! Holy shit! Thank you so much for 21 biddies, Nana. Mwah. Thank you. I much appreciate it. I love this sound. Thanks. Oh man, you don't understand how long it took for me to edit all of these sounds to be short for the alerts. Because they don't have a short version. I just had to do it myself. Ash lets out a long-drawn yawn. Ash letting out long-drawn yawns every few minutes, however, is a new thing. Even as the food arrives minutes later, he stays distracted. What the fuck is that? That's impressive. The coffee right there, that's impressive. This looks nice though. This looks yummy. I could go for some cake right now. Preferably not a cupcake, like an actual cake. I've had so many cupcakes. Bro. Hi May, welcome to the show. Making you hungry? They do look really fucking good. His eyes distant, focused at some point on the table, and a frown creases his brows as if in deep thought. This while I'm left to grapple for a decent thing to talk about over a plate of vegetable quiche, his odd choice of cake for lunch, and a hubbub surrounding the two of us. The food does look good. Luckily I have food with me at the moment. Oh, nice. What do you have with you, May? Do tell. Share. Do share with the audience what you have. Small talk has never been my strong point, and against everything sensible and wise in the world, I blurt out the first thing that pops into my head.
Any news about Bella's condition?
He pauses, the fork stilling halfway to his mouth. Ash is far from the most open person in the world. Even to us, the people he already let see Chicken pot pie and some biscuits. Nice. That sounds really good. I am not gonna lie to you, mate. That sounds good. You know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna put it back to 0. It looked way better at 0. I'm not gonna lie here. It looked better at 0. It looks good at 0 because you can actually see the effects. Alright. Even to us, the people he already let see past the cool and distant persona, there are some things he keeps safely tucked away to himself. In that one unguarded second, though, a pained expression shoots across his features, one he doesn't bother hiding under his usual mask of detachment. I'm not sure why. Of all things happening right now, I find that alone unnerving.
No change since I left yesterday. Rebecca visited last night. Said something about an aunt taking things from here. I didn't hear most of it. I was needed back at the precinct. But I'll probably drop by again later to see if I can help.
I think it's the one who helped to get the job at BRC.
Really? I only just found out. I thought Isabella was living alone all this time. Well, I assume since Becca is her emergency contact.
She is living alone, technically. Her aunt's working pretty far from here. She only mentioned her in passing before. Can't very well help their family when her aunt has her own set of mouths to feed. Bella had to be the one to take the job. Something like that. And it ain't even like she'd want someone else to do the work. If she can, she'll do it herself.
She's stubborn, that's what she is.
You shouldn't talk.
He gives a non-committal hum and returns to his food. He hasn't even taken a bite when he lets out another yawn. This time, I really have to ask. When was the last... Yeah, I feel like this is the main question I want to ask. Is when was the last time he slept? Because I don't want to say, don't you need to slow down? Because, bro, he's a detective, come on.
Ash, when was the last time you slept?
Oh, fuck. Well, I don't care, it's fine. There shouldn't be any need to ask him about this. In fact, I never have to. More than anyone, he knows his own limits. Now, the same person who once told me how important a sound and alert mind in his line of work appears dead on his feet. To be fair, Ash does think about it for several seconds before shrugging on one shoulder and digging his fork into his food.
I took a short nap in the break room.
For more than 4 hours, dude. Not a nap.
A few days ago? I don't remember.
Bro, what? A few days ago?
I got some sleep back at the hospital, though. Should be good.
That was 2 days ago.
He glances at me for a moment. He's aware I'm right. But when he proceeds to shove more food into his mouth, more forcefully than necessary, I know he's not going to concede. I'm not... what the hell? You... He doesn't sleep for more than a few hours, yeah. This happens. I can't begin to see where the sudden pig-headed thinking is coming from. His tone is quiet when he speaks again, though, barely raising above the din of the coffee shop. But the resolution in it is deafening enough.
It doesn't matter. We could be in danger right now and not even know it. I need to get this mess sorted before anything else happens.
Taking a day off wouldn't hurt.
His fork clinks loudly enough against the plate for the sound to linger awkwardly between us.
Are you kidding me? While the one who ran her over is still out there? They left her lying in the road, bleeding, almost half dead. Now she's stuck in some damn hospital and may never wake up. I don't think so, Zack.
As if he wasn't obvious enough. Like, I know, I feel like the way characters speak actually shows whether they like a person or not. And when it comes to, like, a detective character, they tend to be more passionate, even more passionate when it's, like, someone they love. Even if it's someone it's close to them, they are still passionate in a way, but it's not the same.
Are things really that bad?
You're looking at me right now. What do you think?
cut back on the sarcasm, Ash. I really want to know what's happening here.
Ash drags both his hands down his face and lets out a huff, weighted with every frustration he's carrying in him. For an instant, he opens his mouth to say something, probably to argue, but hastily decides against it.
Traffic cams were useless, and those were supposed to be high def to begin with. Damn, huge waste of taxpayers' money when we can't even use it when we need it. The people at Tech have been at it since we got hold of the footage, and all they managed to salvage with a scant few seconds before she crossed the road. How does that help?
Well, there must be some use in that alone. Like, maybe someone pushed her?
There was no one else. She just stopped right in the middle of the road. Just right in the fucking middle. It's like there was something there that prevented her from crossing. I just don't know what. Zack, Isabella's not that stupid. There was something there. That's what made her stop, and the traffic cams didn't catch it. Something...
Abruptly, he trails off and gapes at me with wide eyes as if something is just snapped properly back into place inside his mind.
Or someone. Someone was there.
Actually, if we're going to talk about someone, maybe this has something to do with it as well.
The expression on his face fucking hell, I can't speak. The expression on his face grows more puzzled with each photo I spread on the table. There's about 8 of them. All of it reprints of the same thing. Mrs. Wright's distorted head on the photos. Hydrate, thank you. Imagine having a sleep schedule. I know, right? Fucking hell. Thanks for hydrate, Nana. He takes a minute to go through each one, eyeing the prints warily. A frown in his brow doesn't ease even as he gathers all of it into one pile and sets them in one neat stack in front of me with a heavy sigh.
Hannah Wright?
Yeah. How did you...
The locket. She never takes it off. Evan's family heirloom.
I won't even think about asking why or how he knows that. If he's investigating them, he'll likely have already dug up every unimaginable dirt about them, including family history.
You never mentioned you got work from them.
Yesterday, yeah. It's just a small feature for a magazine. Interviews, photos, standard stuff, nothing big. But see, here's the thing. I don't know how else to put this out there without sounding crazy, but there really is something odd with that place. Remember the letter?
He drags a breath, reaches up his nose and pinches it. Like the action alone will help grant him all the patience in the world to continue this conversation.
Please tell me this isn't about that again.
No, Ash, you've got to listen this time.
I am listening, and I can't believe that just came out of your mouth. These are some blurred out photos, and that letter is just a stupid prank. I expected this from Isabella, not you.
You're the photographer here. I don't see any need to get worked up over this.
I know what you mean, but will you hear me out first?
No, he won't. Ash leans back on his seat and doesn't say anything further. He gestures for me. Oh wow, he actually is gonna listen. Holy shit. I was expecting him to. He gestures for me to continue with a wave of his hand, impatience clearly on his face. Any other person telling him this, he'll walk out without batting an eye. I suppose the only reason he's giving me the benefit of the doubt is because we know each other.
Ash, I don't easily buy into these things as much as you do. Yesterday, though, behind Hannah.
He blinks at me, his eyebrows lifting momentarily before settling into a deep frown.
Hannah? Since when were you on a first-name basis with the right missus?
Why does that even matter?
I thought you said this was just a gig.
His voice stays level, but the accusation in it is as clear as day. It hits a nerve in me somehow, more than that tone usually does. I do get where he's coming from, but... it really was just a gig, my guy. But that's really not the point here. I kind of want to say both, but I can only say one. Bro, I hate it when they give me choices like this, where I can't... Fuck you. I hate it when they do this to me. You guys got a minute. Give me a choice. Give me a choice. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. I hate it when they do this to me. They give me options that are like both feasible, but it's hard to decide which one I should say at this point. The other two weren't as hard. This one is worse. This is worse. Ow, fuck. That's my finger. Ouch. This is worse. This is worse. How could you do this to me, bro? Yeah, look at Ash's photo here. He looks so much better here than he does, like, his character model looks. Ah! His character model looks so childish. Alright, alright, let's see, let's see, let's see. What do I do? What do I do? Which one do I choose? You guys! Alright, alright, you know what? I'm just gonna ask a random... Let's... Why do you do this to me? Alright, I'm gonna go ask Kiwi. Kiwi! You forgot to... Okay. Since you forgot to vote, Nana, what was your vote? What was your vote? What was your vote, Nana? Tell me your vote. First one? Okay. It's not the point here. Oh my god, let's see. That just made it worse! Of all the things I said, my connections to the rights is the first thing he points out. As much as I want to keep my own annoyance at bay, I can't stop it from seeping into my voice.
That's completely beside the point here, Ash.
I warned you, Zack.
I get it, all right? But you can't just expect me to turn it down after I made a commitment to a client. I've got to put food on my table.
I didn't say you shouldn't, but you should not be messing with them.
I wasn't messing with them.
And this isn't?
He waves the photos in front of me before dropping a pile of food. Dropping the pile on the table with a loud smack. I don't need to look to know we've already attracted some attention from the lunchtime crowd. Besides turning away from him feels almost the same as admitting he's right. There are things more important than his damn case right now. I wish he'd see that.
It was a job, and that ain't how these photos were intended to come out. You think I'd go out of my way just to edit something like this? There's something weird going on here.
And you think Luke Wright will see it that way? You think the Wright missus will find it amusing?
I did not do this for my amusement, Ash. People's lives might be at stake here.
If you understood that in the first place, we wouldn't be having this stupid talk. Luke fucking Wright is a dangerous man, Zack. Keep hanging around them and you'll find yourself burnt to a crisp in your apartment or floating down a river 3 days later. This case is...
Will you stop talking about the damn case for once and just listen to me? Why do you think Isabella's...
Don't you dare bring her into this. We're talking about you and this stupid...
Oh, of course you don't want to talk about it. You can't figure out the bastard who did it because of your own fucking incompetence.
Every expression drains from his face as soon as the words are out of my mouth. They've hit their mark. Each utterance scats. What the fuck? I fucking hate English, bro. I hate English. Scathes?
Scathe.
Fucking hell. I love that I find the word before I even look it up. Each utter scathes sharp, with nothing but anger and the truth. Yet, they are also things I won't typically say out loud in good company, and rather ease people into it before letting it fall. Almost immediately, a wave of regret washes over me.
Ash, dude, that ain't what I meant to...
You said enough, Zack.
Without another word, he stands, his chair scraping loudly against the floor, all while my brain races to find something to fix this. Ours ain't a fragile friendship by any means. I like to think we've gone past the stage when we find everything the others say insulting. But there are times when letters and phrases alone can cut deeper than any blade. Mine might even leave a scar. He doesn't let me, however. Instead, he sets a card in front of me. What the fuck? He's asking me to see a shrink! The name is familiar, but amidst the cloud of remorse swirling inside my head, I can't bring myself to recall where I've seen it.
You shouldn't be running blind. Call this guy. He'll be less inclined to shout at you. Might even talk some sense into you.
Fuck. Disturbed Zachary decided to show the photographs to Ashton during lunch at the coffee house. They briefly discussed Isabella's case before the topic veered on the photos. Refusing to believe his friend, Ashton advised him to talk to Andrew instead. Yeah, he said go see a therapist. Fucking hell. I don't see his face when he leaves, and it is only when the store's bell chimes again do I breathe. Of all places, it never crossed my mind I'll end up wandering into a public library today, considering I rarely ever visit. Somehow, there has always been this kind of disconnect between me and the books in general. Sure, some of them held my attention in my youth during the brief times of day I was left on my own, with nothing to do. I went through the whole Grand's collection, as a matter of fact. Read all of them twice or even thrice. But they never did hold it for long. Most of it never even stuck. Especially after I learned it's simply easier to do things myself if I want to learn stuff. This ain't in the plan in the first place. But after that argument, I really don't have any other choice. Nothing but quiet greets me inside, though. Not the typical mom one would associate with a library, but one akin to a hush prior to an impending trouble. Or perhaps I'm just overthinking again. I really like to think I'm just thinking too much about this, that this is just a lack of sleep talking. Regardless, apart from a group of students murmuring in a corner somewhere, the place is free of its usual visitors. All while my footsteps echo in a manner unsettling enough to raise the hairs at the back of my neck. Much to my relief, it does not take me long to find him, being the only occupant in this side of the room. Professor Andrew Clark. I've never personally met the man, but Ash has spoken highly of the man several times. In fact, he is Ash's go-to guy when something's troubling him with a case. My steps are unsure as I approach. At any rate, he greets me with a warm smile, like a grandson he hasn't seen in a long time.
Ashton's friend, I take it. Zachary. You'll have to forgive this old man if I don't get your name right.
Oh, no, you got it. It's Zack. Zachary Steele, Professor Clark.
He gestures at the empty seat across the table while he returns to his books. The next couple of minutes pass in relative silence as he continues to read and take notes from a pile he's accumulated on the table. Maybe I shouldn't have taken a book first beforehand. Maybe I should have taken a book first before heading here. But before I can even get far into that idea, Professor clicks the book shut and sets it atop the stack next to him.
Ashton told me you were hoping to get answers from me.
At my confused look, he lets out a small chuckle.
He sent a message ahead. A friend needs to have some sense knocked into him. In verbatim. That boy never changes.
I wasn't really expecting he'd do that.
Although I'm not quite sure what I could share, I'll do my best to help.
Of course, there's a lot of things I want to ask. How do we get out of this mess in the first among tens, hundreds of concerns in my head? But in the presence of somebody I barely know, the thought won't easily form. He is nothing but patient, however, and with enough time to mull over, a question finally forms.
Do you believe in the paranormal, Professor?
It's supernatural, actually. Don't worry. It's a common mistake to make, but they really are two different things. The other one deals with what we can't explain at the moment, while the other are things we may not have an explanation to. Here.
He places a couple of papers in front of me, the very same one he was writing on earlier. A study of Luxborn's supernatural culture in a nutshell.
A friend of mine wrote that a few years ago. He took interest in the city after reading about the stories. I have to agree with him here. Even stories dealing with things you don't see with the naked eye can be rife with culture, and this city thrives on it. Just ask the locals.
Like ghosts, for example.
Among other things. The interpretation has changed over the years, though. Various religions, for example, have their own version. It might not always be a spirit now. It could be a memory, or an imprint, an echo, so to speak. Some are born from curses, even, out of great anger, hatred, or pain. There was this one story. Here it is.
Another book is pulled out from the stack and place one atop the papers while he speaks with such passion that it makes me wonder if some part of him believes these to be true. It is interesting, though, even if I'm personally not a fan of such stories. And soon hours pass without my notice.
In the end, it asked for something to be sacrificed in order to destroy whatever anchors the wraith. A sad tale, that one, but the simplest grudge can bring the ugliest, even in the kindest person, with some people none the wiser. Oh, I'm sorry. I just went on.
Nah, it's good. Are you familiar with the Ermengarde mansion, though?
Of course. That goes without saying. Who hasn't heard of the local legend? Although, word of the mouth is, someone has already bought it.
Yeah. The right couple. It was a close friend who handled that sale.
So I heard. Well, don't think the house being bought by anyone would stop us from talking about it. What is it about the mansion, then?
I just want to ask what you think of it, sir.
We're going to need more than an afternoon for that, young man. You see, it's the kind that has changed over the years, passed down from one person to the next. Sometimes, it's the Lord William who haunts the place. There are versions where it's the lady of the house. But my favorite, a personal favorite, would have to be the ones that followed after the disappearance of the kind daughter.
Well, what about these, then?
There is a moment of hesitation on my part before I pull out Mrs. Wright's photos and lay them all in front of him. Unlike Ash, though, the professor inspects each print with great interest. That gives me some hope, at least.
When were these taken?
Just the other day. Do you think those are the same?
Perhaps. Perhaps not. There were certainly instances when the film would pick up what the human eyes weren't able to see. But then, it could also have been human error.
I didn't edit it in any way. You have my word on that, Professor. They all just came out like that.
Then, if it is what you're thinking, I'd strongly advise against doing something reckless and further tangling with them. Accounts about them may be riveting to you, but most of it often ends in an unpleasant manner.
What about those people in the house? If there is something in there, shouldn't they know? I'm sure they're already familiar with the legends, but...
Some people might deserve it, however.
Deserve what, sir?
All of a sudden, the tenderness in the professor's eyes disappear, his face becoming unreadable. As though catching himself, he hastily clears his throat, gathers his books, and rises from his seat.
Professor?
I'm sorry. I just remembered something I neglected to do. You'll have to excuse me, Zachary.
All right. Do you need any help with that?
Don't let my looks fool you, son. I can still carry a few hundreds. I've been doing this for years. I'll see you some other time if you have any other questions.
Of course. It was nice knowing you, Professor.
He doesn't hear it, however. Beep. Beep. Zachary meets with Professor Andrew Clark at the library. The professor shared a few of his favorite stories about the city, including a friend's research about its urban legends. When Zack showed Hannah's distorted photos, the professor only warned him not to be reckless, and that some people deserve what's coming for them. In a few short strides, he's out of the library, leaving me and every piece of this whole mess amidst this oppressive stillness. Despite the answers gleaned, more questions surfaced. If there is even a single way out of this, I hope we find it soon. The moon is well into the night sky by the time I make it back home. My heavy threads and the sound of traffic outside echoes in my ears, filling the empty room with some semblance of life. Nana would scold me. Nana would fucking hell. Nana would scold me if she ever hears me walk like that. But after today, I really can't give a damn about everything. The mattress creaks under my weight as I unceremoniously flop down on it, and I find myself looking at the paper under my grip. An invitation and a request to cover an event. An invitation and a request to cover an event, the Wrights' homewarming party tomorrow evening. Nah, he said Nana as in like nanny, but I said Nana. Ugh, excuse me. If only it were that easy, but it'll give me a chance to talk to her about that thing in their house. With a sigh, I let my hand fall to the side of the bed along with the invitation. I'll think about it tomorrow, when my head ain't muddled with thoughts of a headless woman and a haunting smile of a ghost. But lately, it occurs to me that the last meal I ate had been the one with Ashton. An empty, gnawing ache makes itself known, but I can't bring myself to stand up. Today was a complete waste of time, and frankly, a disappointment. I don't like this. The lack of certainty, the disquiet, the lack of stable ground to stand on, the part where I do not know what will come tomorrow. Ever since that damn letter, everything has been thrown out of the loop. I wish everything stayed the same. Routine would have been easier to make sense of than this. Closing my eyes, I let the noise from the streets below lull me to sleep. At the very least, that's the one thing that hasn't changed. The melody carries into the hall long before it crosses the threshold. Solemn but gentle and soothing, a reminder of what home is. Pa's firm but meaningful gaze, Ma's wistful smiles, the warm rays filtering through the eaves at sunset, the distinct smell of wet earth and leaves after a long day's rain in our room. The room, Ma and Pa's pride and joy. A place we were once promised several springs ago. Yet it won't stop.
No, wait! Come back! I'll be good this time! Please don't leave! Please stay!
The floorboards are cold under my feet, more than it usually is. The walls more forbidding than what I'm used to. Farther and farther the room goes. Ma's singing cease, and Pa. I can't hear Pa. Above the ruckus clanging and the deafening roar, the gunshots, nor the screams replacing the comforting soft melodies. There is only the blinding fear. But when light breaks, her skin is already taken a sickly pale color, rotten in most parts, blood dripping from every open gash and lesions on her body. Bony hands gripping Hannah's neck like a noose, staining the skin underneath with a vibrant shade of scarlet. Nothing but malice fills the gleam in her eyes. A scream ripples through the air. My whole body feels distant. Every limb heavy with lead, all unable to move at will. Not even so I can wipe the beads of sweat forming at my temples. The rasping of my breath easily fills the room in the wee hours, while I force it back into a steady rhythm. There is a tightness in my chest. I can't shake it off. My heart pounding against it as if it's about to burst. Something cold has settled on my legs. Not the usual chill that comes and goes with the passing breeze from the window, but one strong enough to sting, shackle, and leave a frigid sensation creeping up my skin. With every struggle I make, the pressure winds firmly around my legs, tighter and tighter and tighter, all until it becomes too much. My heart stops. Another draft sweeps into the room and brings with it the iron tang of blood. Thick, suffocating, filling my nose with a foul, sickening smell as I shift my gaze downwards and it slowly comes into view. Mouth stretching in a hideous smile, the eyes brimming with nothing but madness. The stench of gore taints the air around me, and I can't look away from it, her, from the terror and death that her uncanny, twisted features alone scream. I try to open my mouth, to shout, to ask for any help, but my voice has left my body altogether. All I have is the painful realization that no kind of plea will ever save me from her. Then suddenly, the bed dips. Ah, thanks for the hydrate. Damn. I still can't look at her face without covering it first. Damn. You'd think I'd be used to it by now. The brutal plunge back into myself jerks me awake. There is no ear-splitting scream, no wild thrashing of limbs. Just a painful, constricting awareness that something has wound itself tightly around my neck. I waste no time pulling it, a blanket, away, but allow myself a few minutes to steady my breathing before getting off the bed. Inhaled, hold, exhale. 1 step, 2 steps, 3. But the dreams have gotten worse. Ever since 2 days ago, no longer are there small cursory flashes that I'm used to, but vivid ones that linger. I can still feel the blood in my hands, the putrid smell of rotting flesh, the sickening crunch of bones breaking with every movement, and her cold, chilling eyes as they bore into me. I draw in one long, ragged breath, and before I know it, I'm walking out the door. Even in the waking world, it reeks. A bench on the park is far from the most private place for thoughts in Luxburn, considering its location at the heart of the bustling city. But in the early hours of the morning, it provides enough peace and quiet for any poor problematic soul who happens to wander here. Excuse me. The city is still waking up, a little later than usual. But knowing what day it is, one can't fault it for being a little tardy just this once. Yet neither the pleasant morning chill nor the soft twittering of birds does anything to banish the images. Every single one has rooted itself in my head, its claws digging deep in what is no longer a safe place to hide in.
London Bridge is falling down, falling down.
It used to be easy finding some pretense of peace under the guise of sheer optimism following regular routine. Now I don't know what to make of it. Sometimes it's easier to run, easier to hide when everything's falling apart. That way, you don't have to be the first to witness it when it does. It worked when things went bad with the movies, after all. It worked. Oh my god, I can't fucking think with her singing. Oh, shut up, shut up. Ugh. I muted her on my side. I can't hear her anymore. It also worked when Ma and Pa were taken from us. Maybe it really is better if I just...
Hey, mister.
A tiny voice gives me a pause. When I look up, a little girl, maybe about 6 or 7, is peering at me. 2 wide eyes, overflowing with what can only be the natural curiosity one typically sees in children. I vaguely note the same gorty? I don't know. Uniform she's wearing before returning her greeting.
Hey kid.
Kylie.
Kylie?
That's my name. Mama said it's rude not to call people by their names.
She then flops down on the empty space beside me. Her tiny legs, still too short to touch the ground, swings in tune with the song she hums under her breath. I don't mind kids. Nana would often invite the ones in our old neighborhood to give them treats. Of course, by then, Sis and I were both too old to play with them, but you get used to the commotion eventually. It's not completely as unpleasant as most people would imply. Kylie seems to be a well-behaved kid anyway.
Oh, sorry. Nice to meet you, Kylie. Is Mama here?
No, but my big brother's with me. He's taking pictures with his camera over there.
She points to the far end of the park, the one closest to the street where a kid is taking shots of something above him. It doesn't look to be birds because all there is on that side of the park are buildings.
I don't see what's so interesting with the tip of a building, though. I'd take pictures of dogs if I were him. They're cuter. Do you have a camera too, mister?
Yeah, I'm actually a photographer.
Mama said I'm too young to get a camera.
I'm sure your mama will eventually give you one. But won't you be late for school like this?
Big brother will get us there on time. Rowan promised Papa.
She calls him Papa and Mama.
We aren't going to be late. It's sports day. So it's not good if you keep looking like that today. If it ends up raining and we lose, it's your fault.
All right, I'll try not to upset the clouds today, kid.
Is it because you're sick, mister?
Before I know it, a smile is spread over my face. They say kids ask the toughest questions sometimes, and they sure do with how sincere Kylie looks. Lying feels like doing her a huge disservice.
No, not sick. Just having a very, very bad day.
Why is that? Is that like when my big brother ate all of my pudding? He did that once and then cried. It wasn't very nice of him.
Yeah, I think so. You see, there's this mean girl. She's given my friends and I a lot of trouble. I even got in a fight with my best friend because of her. Hard to keep up when things are like that, you know? Especially when you can't do anything. It's kind of scary. Makes you wish things will just stay as peaceful as they used to be.
Maybe she just wants to be friends with you?
I highly doubt that. She already hurt one of my friends.
What if she's just sad? Or maybe she just wants help. That's what happened with Melody. I let her borrow my crayon when she left hers. Now we're playmates.
It's not really the same thing, Kylie. What she did, they're pretty bad things.
I still think there's another reason. Did you try talking to her? That's what Mama said I should do.
I don't think that'll work either.
It's kind of hard to talk to a spirit, but this kid kind of has a point. Because spirits linger here for a reason, and maybe some ones, even though malicious, they actually have a reason for letting themselves be known, you know?
You haven't even tried yet. You sound like Rowan. You're just scared, mister.
That strikes a chord. Maybe it's the honesty in her tone, or simply the truth in the words itself. I don't know why, but I can't help it. I laughed. Loud enough to disturb an elderly couple taking a leisurely walk nearby.
Why are you laughing?
That's nothing. You're a really smart kid, you know that?
That's what I've been doing, ain't it? Go full speed ahead, then backtrack when it gets tough, when the going gets tough. Stay in my safe zone because that's what I know. Once Dr. Navarro said, I should be the first one willing to deal with my problems before anyone else. I didn't show up to our next appointment after that. But he's right. And though I hate to admit it, knowing what I've seen, but this kid makes a good point too. I've been so caught up thinking there might not be a way out. Maybe there isn't, and maybe there is, but that doesn't matter. I should just leave it up to fate. Aren't spirits supposed to be human before too? Had people they cared about lived a life of their own, smiled and laughed like the rest of us does? Do they really lose all of it after death?
You better get to school, though, or you'll miss sports day. You should have won yourself some awards, alright?
Alright. Can I show it to you when I do? That can cheer people up, right?
In the distance, her brother calls for her, and I took it as a sign to leave. Got things to do, to face. The first few steps, they say.
Nah, I'm good now, I think. Thanks to you. Besides, Mister needs to go. But you should show it to Mama and Papa. I'm sure they'll be proud of you, Kylie.
I will. Thanks, mister. Bye.
I give her a little pat on the head before heading my way. A small gesture of thanks from a stranger she didn't know she might have helped. She may not understand it now, even though at such a young age she already has this understanding of things, but maybe when she's older. When the world no longer seems too big for her.
But aren't you going to help me, mister?
With what?
Confused, I glanced back. Oh shit. No. Whatever cheer out our little talk brought has vanished, under the shadows suddenly dancing in my eyes. This frigid air is most definitely not how the morning chills should feel like. Bitter, stinging, unwelcoming. and the kid.
What do you think, mister? Are you going to help me?
What do you want from us?
The response never comes, however, because when I blink, gone.
Hello? Mister? Are you okay?
For several passing seconds, I let my stare linger on her face, waiting for any sign of another change. But all that remains in there is the carefree smile of a child. None of the spite, none of the cold, bloody smile.
Nothing. I really need to go, Kylie. It was nice meeting you.
See you again, mister!
I hate this ghost, bro. I hate this ghost. Ah! Zachary's nightmares became worse with each passing day. To help clear his mind of this unwanting image, Zack took a visit to the park. There he met little Kylie. Not gonna pronounce that. A precious young girl studying at St. Gorati. Gorate? I don't know. I break into a run. Hang on. Let me try that again. I break into a run. I don't look back. Not even as I bump into a couple of passers-by as soon as I'm out on the busy street. Going insane. This is what it is. And if we don't do something soon, we will all be... The tremors follow me, even as I get home. I had hoped a little stroll around the block for a few hours would help. Instead, I am assaulted with more images of her smile, the loathing in her eyes, the stench of gore, the horrid crunch that comes with every movement she makes. Even old memories have been sullied by her. And Ma's song no longer sounds as sweet as it meant to be. In the end, all I got is a sinking feeling I will never be rid of her image, and another ridiculous idea that may or may not even work. The sun is already hanging low on the horizon when I make it back, and for the first time, coming home feels more like a chore. Only, I didn't arrive to an empty room. Because as soon as I open the door, I'm greeted by none other than...
Sup, Z-Man?
Whatever proverbial stone has made a home at the pit of my stomach automatically flies right out of the window at the sight of Ashton. Oh, hi, Mark. To John Cena. Oh, Jesus. Thank you so much for the follow, Ghosty Lazy. Welcome to the show, and I hope you enjoy yourself here. Yeah, hi Mark. Seems you're doing well. Sitting comfortably on my couch, munching on a bag of chips with both feet propped up top of the coffee table. You rude-ass bastard. Get your feet off the table. Common sense dictates I should throw him out. Any person of a right mind would. But like many other things I've gotten accustomed to, I simply take it all in a stride. I never did bother turning him away the first time to begin with. Moreover, I said things I shouldn't have the other day. Gotta straighten that out before it blows up in our faces.
Ash, how many times do I have to tell you not to call me Z-Man? And stop breaking into my apartment! Call the cops on you, but doing that feels like a joke in itself because you are one.
I didn't. You gave me a key the last time I did that, remember?
After the last one you broke, I can't keep replacing the knob just because you think it'd be amusing to lockpick the hell out of it.
This dude.
And hey, is that my...
Ash smirks at me, because of course, he has the gall to smirk knowing what he did. He pops in what's very likely the last piece of chip into his mouth and folds the wrapper neatly on the table before throwing it into a nearby trash. Behind me, the television starts blaring the music of the end credits of a movie. He's likely been waiting for a while if he's gotten impatient enough to rummage through my cupboards and watch something.
You ate all of it! I was saving that one for the weekend.
I'll replace it.
Bruh, you better.
What exactly is this about? And I know I said something bad the last time. I'm really sorry about that.
In an instant, he sits up, every trace of amusement gone from his face. He claps his hand in front of him and leans forward. A minuscule gesture meant to ease, yet the grim expression on his face tells a different story altogether.
It's fine. You had a point back then.
Wait, what? Did I just hear you say that?
I'm not kidding, Zack. Speaking of the other day, did you meet with Andrew last time?
Yeah, at the library. He was,
What did he say about the photographs?
Huh? Oh, there's no guarantee it's a supernatural thing. It doesn't always happen. So, that's a dead end right there. Now that I think about it, bothering that guy for this feels pretty silly now. But with the dreams lately...
That's all? Did he say anything about the damn letter at all? Did you ask him even?
I pause, glancing at him skeptically. I don't know where this sudden curiosity is coming from. But if Ashton, calm, cool, collected, always logical Ashton, takes interest in this, something or someone must have fucked shit up somewhere. Or the world is ending. Seconds pass. The apocalypse I'm expecting to go along with it doesn't arrive, however.
Yeah, that's really everything. The letter kind of slipped my mind. The photos were more important at that time. There was some stuff about the local horror stories, though. Talked about the curses, and he was really fascinated with the story about a wraith asking for a sacrifice to move on. Kinda nasty if you ask me. But it does make sense if you simply go along with it. I'm not sure how this will help in the grand scheme of things. Why are you asking about this anyway?
Becca's been saying weird things lately.
Weird like...
Same kind of weird Isabella says.
Alright, bro, stop right there. I thought you didn't believe in this stuff.
I still don't, but even Rebecca, out of all people, claims there's something. Whatever this is, someone has got to look into it. Everything about this screams shady.
Are you sure you even have the time? Ain't you busy with your current case?
I got taken off that one this morning.
Didn't you say you were getting closer to...
Apparently, the higher-ups think I'm doing a horrendous job at it. It doesn't matter, though. If these two cases are connected like I initially thought, then regardless, I'm on the right track. Have you seen the news this morning?
Ah, what the fuck? I'm so done with seeing these help me signs on this fucking wall, bro. He grabbed the remote and cycles through numerous channels until he gets to a news report about another guy who has been found dead in the early hours of the morning today. Burned alive this time. Another victim by the Anselm Butcher. I fucking forgot how they... Anselm Butcher? Man burned after room catches fire. Oddly, no fire has spread and whatever damage has been contained within the place the body was found. The room itself, however, has been completely vandalized. Help me. Help me. Help me. Another murder. Another murder the authorities claimed. If only they knew.
You think this is...
I don't know what to think, Zack.
He raises... He raises... The fuck, I can't read. He rises from the chair and begins pacing the length of the room, lacing his fingers roughly through his hair.
I just know there's something. There must be. There has to be. Fuck!
Well, you do have something in mind, I'm sure. A plan?
Thanks, Ghosty, for the hydrate and the stretch. Give me just a moment. I made those really quick. Yeah. God knows I needed that stretch. Ugh.
Come on, Ash, you're good with that.
I do! I'm just not sure if I'll get anything out of it.
Well, a plan is better than no plan at all, ain't it?
Almost too sudden, he swivels on his heel, and for a passing moment I thought he's going to shout at me. Instead, Ash simply flops back down onto the couch, crosses his arm over his face, and releases a long, ragged breath. His voice comes out smaller, closer to a whisper when he speaks again.
I should have looked into this when she was still here. Maybe none of this would have happened if I did.
Ah, there it is. No one needs to ask who her is. Every should has this, could haves, and would haves. All our frustrations in one statement, while all we can do is to cope. What should I say?
Rebecca and I are still here.
Oh, it went up, thank God.
And don't count Isabella out yet. No matter what the doctor said, I want to believe she'll pull through. We'll manage, one way or another.
Don't make it sound so easy. We have no idea what we're dealing with here.
I ain't saying it will be. But we gotta do something, yeah? Make sure this doesn't happen to anyone else.
He grins. None of it reaches his eyes, but it's a start. We've got to start picking up the pieces somewhere and hope everything will turn out for the better at some point. And Ash, well, frustrations aside, he's always preferred taking matters into his own hands. However, a little reminder there are other people with him won't hurt.
You have a point.
I always do. You just don't listen.
If he minds the bluntness of my words, he doesn't show it. But little by little, things begin to look up, if only for a short while. Ash leaves mere minutes close to sundown. He said little until then, not even a hint of what he's aiming to do after. While it ain't any of my business to know, his whole fucking hell, I hate this. I hate English.
Reticent.
Oh, I was right! His whole reticent attitude on the matter gnaws at me. At this hour, the streets are once again busy with people heading home after a hard day's work. Little of the bustle matters to him as he steps out to the crowded walkway. However, there's only his goal in his mind, and I'd wager there's nothing I can do to stop him at this point. He's probably decided on it long before he made his decision to drop by. But despite that, he lags behind.
What's wrong, Ash?
His mouth opens and closes, but whatever he wants to say is lost in the clamor of traffic outside.
Is there something I can do?
No, just say where you are.
I can't do that. No can do, Ash. Ask me anything but that. No way in hell I'm gonna pretend there ain't a problem when there is. This is a really big one, and I'll be damned if I let anything happen to you guys while I sit here. I'm done running when things get tough.
What? You think you have a better plan?
Who knows if it's better? At least it's something.
If all this is going to do is put you in danger, then I'd rather you not do anything at all. I never want to wake up to that kind of thing again. Finding out one of my friends was left for dead in the middle of the street. One person is enough.
This is still better than having no other course of action, yeah?
He's about to argue for a moment, but...
Look, bro, if things ain't good, I'll be the first one out. But allow me this one thing, aight? Just this one time. If it doesn't work out, you'll be the first one to know. You can laugh then, or berate me all you want. But please don't ask me to step aside like I'm incapable of doing anything to help.
I've no idea if it is the look on my face or the tone of my voice. Ultimately, though, his mouth pressed into a thin line and he nods.
Do what you want. If you can check in with Rebecca, I'd appreciate it.
When he stumbles into the sidewalk and allows allows the afternoon crowd to swallow him whole. I like to think the tiny gleam in his eyes is the closest we can get to optimism in this situation. There it is. Upon returning to his apartment, Zachary is greeted by Ashton. Now suspicious of what's happening. Ashton informed Zack that he will try and get to the bottom of this. He also warned Zack not to act rashly. Okay, this has been moved further back, so this is happening later and later in the day. So we got the right party, undiscovered stuff. We got this is okay. This is Isabella's stuff still. Isabella, Hannah, Isabella again. Isabella. More Isabella. Isabella again. Isabella. There's a lot of Isabella. And then she gets into her car crash. Then it's Zack. And then Hannah. Zack. And Hannah. And then she goes crazy. Zack. And Hannah. Oh, this is when she goes crazy. May I ask, what did you choose at the end of Isabella's chapter? Oh, Ghosty, that's like the worst thing to ask. To be honest, it's been a while since we've been in Isabella's chapter. I legit could not tell you what we chose because I can't remember it. It was so long ago. It was so long ago. No. I didn't mean to do that. It was so long ago. I could not tell you without looking at my VOD what it might have been. But even then, I don't actually remember where the last chapter was. Like, the last of Isabella's chapter. I can go back and look. Pretty sure we finished Isabella's chapter. Yeah, we finished it last time. This is the 4th time we're playing this. It was like 2-3 weeks ago when I played it last. Give me 2 seconds. Let me just. I think I chose to stay at home as opposed to go to work. I'm not sure if that was the last choice, but it's the last choice I could find on the VOD. I chose to stay at home. Whether that alone will be enough to give me a peaceful sleep tonight remains to be said. Wait, we're supposed to see Rebecca first. Night falls, and despite my best attempts, sleep continues to elude me. With her image still stuck in my head, flashing every few moments, it catches me off guard. With Ma's lullaby still echoing in my ears. No longer the soft tune it once was. That's the choice I meant? Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, it was. I stayed at home. I chose to stay at home. And the terror gnawing at the pit of my stomach. It's no wonder I can't bring myself to drift off, even for a little while. It's not as if there's a complete lack of things to do while waiting for sleep to come, if it ever will. And at 2:45 in the morning, I find myself cleaning my photography equipment for no other reason than just to pass time. I can't read. Though if I am going to be honest, it is not the night terrors that keep me wide awake tonight, but the anxiety and the hope I'll hear from Ash soon. And for what perhaps is 40 seconds, eyes shift over to the end of the table where my phone lies still. I have not heard from him since he left. He hasn't promised to call, of course, but a small part of me wishes he would have the common sense at the very least. Waiting is a tough game, and with the concern stretching out the minutes far longer than usual, it's impossible for more unpleasant thoughts not to enter my mind. Moreover, it doesn't help that when the clock finally strikes 3, my hands still. It is a complete and utter lie to say my heart didn't leap to my throat in that brief second. My whole body goes motionless, ears straining for any further sounds. A couple of tense seconds pass. Nothing. Of course, with how old the building I'm staying in, power fluctuations ain't anything new. Every now and then, this would happen, leaving a few tenants in a rather bad mood. Nothing unusual anymore after a few years of living here. But this time, the sudden hush brings with it a stillness that raises the hairs on the back of my neck and sets my heart beating hard against my chest. Something reeks in the air, and in an instant, the place is no longer home. It's a prison. Every rational fiber in my being screams at me to leave. I force myself to swallow and keep a clear head as I lay down all my cleaning tools and begin to gather together the rest of my things scattered about the table. The camera's body, lens, filters, diffuser, phone, anything my hand could reach. But then, the resulting panic, like in the nightmares, it's the scent that reaches me first. A foul, putrid smell filling my lungs with the heavy stink of death. My fingers clamp tightly on the camera, holding it close to my body, as if the tiny thing would probably provide enough protection to whatever is with me in the room. It won't. But it's the only comfort I have. And knowing whoever she is, she had once been human. Perhaps not all of it is gone. Perhaps some of it is still there.
Hello? I know you're in here. What do you want?
Something moves behind me. A soft scuttling over the walls, followed by the squelch and painful creaking of what can only be rotting flesh and broken bones. Without hesitation, I whirl around, my fingers and camera ready, patiently waiting for another movement.
I can help you. Whatever it is that keeps you here, I can help. That's what the letter's for, ain't it? You don't have to keep taking people's lives.
There's a brief moment of silence after, and for a short while, I think my pleas worked. Then, with no warning, the shuffling resumes, and along with it are the sobs of a woman. Oh my god. Jeez. The light flashes fleeting one time, allowing me a glimpse of her grotesque, misshapen features before it is once again lost in the darkness. All of a sudden, her tune changes, no longer a soft cry, but a high-pitched screech brimming with pain, grief, and anger. Every ounce of courage I mustered flees from my body at the sound, and the next thing I know, my hands are gripping the knob, and I'm wrenching the door open. Her wails follow me as I flee into the night. Pacing has always been more of Ashton's thing than mine. When I want to think, I sit and let the minutes tick by until an idea comes to mind and my pulse settles down. And yet, dried leaves and twigs crack under my shoes as I make another pass at them. Terror is too mild to describe what this is. There's no way in hell I'm going back. Whatever she is, pleading won't work. The moment we saw that letter, she's been after us.
But I can't run. Not this time.
Nearly 2 hours have gone by since I left the comfort of my room for the solitude of the park. 2 excruciating hours since I've started making calls. No one's answering. Not even Rebecca, who has always kept her phone line open in case other people need her. It does not help that Ash hasn't said a word where he went off to as well.
Damn it! I knew I should have asked him before I let him leave.
Knowing him, he can be anywhere. But there's only one place he'd likely be at this time. The sun's already peaked over the horizon when I make it to the mansion. I have no idea what I'm expecting to see when I got here. There's Ashton, first and foremost. A part of me wishes my assumptions were correct and he's really somewhere close by on stakeout. But I've never been the lucky sort when it comes to this kind of guessing. And even after I've made it around the immediate vicinity, I could find neither hide nor hair of him. Calling him is no good either, considering how awful the signal is here. He can't be too far if he's really here. But if he is, he would have already noticed me by now. Instead, there's only silence. The kind too quiet to find any sort of comfort in. Even the trees seem to be falling asleep when the rest of the mansion, oblivious to what's happening around it, a small island of stillness in the otherwise fast-paced world. No wonder the whole of Anslem feels at odds with the rest of Luxborn. While the city is alive, growing every minute, breathing every second, and pulsing with life, the village remains unmoving, unchanged. It's not surprising the legend still lives up to this day, and why she's still here, walking its hollowed halls. Fuck, I can't read. Excuse me. And beyond me, the mansion, let me try that again. And beyond me, the mansion looms ominously. But now ain't the time for fear. Even if Ash is not here, I still got to let the Wrights know what I've seen, what's in their home. And whatever grievance Ash has with them doesn't matter. There might be grounds for imprisonment, but they don't deserve a brutal death at the hands of one malicious spirit. I'm sure Isabella would want the same thing. I head straight for the door, without a second thought. It takes a few rings, the sound loud above the foreboding stillness, before I hear footsteps on the other side.
God and Bennett, only a Nancy would knock at such an ungodly hour.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, my God, Luke, calm down.
Where's that damn butler when I need him?
Before long, the door swings widely open, with Mr. Luke Wright standing behind it. Seething would be a complete understatement to describe him. Like this, I've got no doubt why Ash would find him a suspect.
You? How the hell did you get in here? What in 7 hells do you want? It's bloody 6 in the morning!
Jesus Christ, calm down.
Listen, sir, I know this is not a good time.
Oh, it's not a good time. Did you even check the clock before coming here? I bet you didn't.
Calm down, Luke. Jesus.
Unlike you, the ones living in this house need to sleep. Come back when people are actually awake, or I'll call security on you.
Before I can get a word in, he slams the door in my face and bolts it shut with much finality. He's fully dressed. I know, he's fully dressed though. Jeez, this guy.
Wait, sir, you gotta hear me out. You're both in danger if you stay in there. Have you seen the news lately? Everything's not a coincidence.
Only silence answers me. Maybe if it was Mrs. Wright. Oh, who am I kidding? There are limits to how far a person will believe in you. And again, I don't believe Isabella when she warned us. I didn't believe Isabella when she warned us. And now I'm here, desperately trying to save people, even if I'm aware it's completely out of my own capacity to do so. Is this what they call karma? If so, this is one horrible way of turning things around. Taking people's lives, playing with people's fears, making them feel useless.
You're around, ain't you? You here? Inside this house? Listening, watching, or whatever it is that you spirits do? What did they do to you? I can help you, you know? If it'll let you move on, I'll gladly do so. You don't have to kill anyone.
Nothing. I don't even know who I'm talking to or if a sane person is supposed to be doing that. The only thing I got after is a feeling of foolishness washing over me. Or perhaps this is just me losing my mind. Out of other options or any other ideas, I let my hand slide off the door's surface and fall listlessly to my sides. I can go back to Luxborn. Try and find the others. Try to get out of this mess with them. Or let them know how much in deep shit we are all in. Both sounds good. Either way, my loitering here ain't helping at all. I let the quietness calm me for a few more minutes before standing up and heading out to fetch my bike. It's quite a distance to Luxborn, but if I hurry, I'll reach it in maybe... The rustling stops as soon as I turn around and strain my ears for any other movement around me.
Yo, Ash, you there?
No answer. If he is there, and I just missed him earlier, already my feet are moving in search of him for a second time. It won't hurt to double check. Triple check even. With how big the property is, he can be anywhere. If things ain't so urgent, if they ain't so dire that lives are at risk, I probably have just waited for him to show up again.
But damn it! He needs to realize what exactly it is he's dealing with.
That it is not just a petty crime he can simply throw in jail. That it is something beyond the authority his police badge could ever give him. The guy needs to stop playing the big damn hero. Sit down and chill. My breathing comes in short, shallow rasps by the time I make it back to where I started. Still no sign of him. I'm beginning to think I'm just wasting my time here. But that's when I hear it. I'd recognize that melody in a heartbeat. Ma's favorite song. I listen for a while, trying to gauge where exactly from the house it's coming from. I feel my feet moving before I can stop them. And there, as I circle the corner, from a room on the first floor, a single window open, but I can't make out whoever's inside. However, I'm sure the singing comes from there. Still, why I'll hear an old tune here of all places, I won't know. It's not an obscure song by all means, but it is pretty rare to find someone who knows this. And for some reason, death seems to follow this song around. Panic lodges itself in the base of my throat once again. Whoever's humming might be... I don't want to be a pessimist now, but on the off chance that it is Miss Wright.
Shit.
I shouldn't just barge in there. I can put myself in danger before I can save anyone. Ash will tell me the exact same words. Might even write me a dissertation why this is a bad idea if he ain't so lazy. But damn it, god damn it! Someone could be in danger! Ah! Yeah, I don't want to choose. I don't want to choose. Again, I'm gonna leave it to you guys. Ah, save it all. Ash, window. You got 1 minute. Come on, guys. Pulls up. Let's go. Make your choice. Am I gonna live or die? Am I gonna climb through the window? Or will I just keep looking for Ash like a dingus? Let's go. Polls up for 1 minute. Cast your votes. Where do I go? I gotta drink water while I wait for you guys to decide. Why does it sound like someone else is screaming in this place? Save the game first? Oh, you don't understand. I don't save the game until I'm almost finished because this game doesn't really require me to keep saving. I have not saved unless I'm like about to finish. If I make a choice in games like these, I'm sticking with that choice. I'm not gonna go back and change it. I finished the game, I'm done with the game. That's it. I don't want to choose either. Oh, too bad! Bruh, no one chose. What the fuck? Ah, you guys. Okay. Okay. Kiwi helped. It's okay. Kiwi helped. For once, the bird was actually helpful. Hello, Ozzy. Welcome to the show. For once, the bird actually fucking helped. Alright, we're gonna keep looking for Ash. In the end, the rational part of my brain wins. The half that has spent too much time around Ash. Excuse me. The right though. It's right though. The reasonable part. If I do force my way in and find something unpleasant, how am I going to fight back? With my camera? No matter where I look at it, that's simply asking for a painful death.
I have a better chance if I find Ash. What is he snooping about?
Perhaps I should try the forest? Make a round farther in into the gardens? Not a sound plan, but it's better than nothing. The woman's soft sobs have subsided by now. Subsided now, by some means. Almost inaudible to the point where I'm wondering if I truly heard what I heard. I don't get to dwell much on it, though. Because right in that moment, my phone rings. The sharp notes cutting, piercing through my thick... What the fuck? Quietude? The thick quietude? Okay. I clamp a hand over it and press the button before the speakers are close to my ear.
Are you?
I thought I caught the tail end of the person I only caught the tail end of the person's greeting on the other side, but I know the voice well enough.
What was that, Ash? Could you repeat that? Signal shitty here.
I asked, where are you? Hell, Zack, I've been calling your number for a good 20 minutes now. What kind of shithole did you get into?
Good morning to you, too. I should be asking you that question. I've been looking all over the mansion for you. I thought you'd be...
What mansion?
Do I really need to answer that?
Why are you even... No, wait. Just get your ass here at Isabella's place, and hurry.
I shift my gaze to the mansion, specifically at the window I heard the cries from. There is nothing of it now. Not even echoes. I play choice games like that too usually, but I'm pretty sure this game will only end with nothing explained and almost impossible to get the true ending first try. I'm not trying to get the true ending. I don't really try to get true endings in games that I play on stream. I'll try and get true endings if I really want to off stream, like in Discord stream. So if you want to see those, do come to the Discord server. I'll host Discord streams and actually try to get true endings if I'm really interested in them. But otherwise, I just go by the choices that I make in the games at the time. Because I don't want to linger on too many games too long unless people are really interested in me looking for the true ending, so to speak. I will just settle with the ending that I get, and if it's not the true ending, so be it. I don't really mind. Personally, I don't care if the game ends a different way than the true ending. That's fine. This is the ending I got. I'm gonna live with my choices. It basically is what I'm trying to say.
How urgent is this?
Pressing enough for you to stop asking questions and get yourself here. Please, Zack.
That gives me a pause. It is a rare thing for him to take on that tone. Last I heard him speak like that, a friend ended up fighting for her life in the hospital. Now she's still in a coma.
I'll be there in a few. An hour or two tops.
Thanks. I'll see you.
You return without good news? What did you do, Hitsu? I rush back onto my bike as soon as the call ends. A terrified Zachary went looking for Ashton at the Ermengarde mansion, but to no avail. He has tried to warn Luke Wright about the spirits supposedly living in the house, but was simply turned away. It's okay. It's okay, Hitsu. There's always next time. Don't worry about it. It's okay. It's okay. There's next time. You got it. It's okay. But was simply turned away. As he was about to give up, he received an urgent call from Ashton ordering him to head straight to Salem Well residence. Okay. But yeah, I'm just gonna live with my choices in terms of endings when it comes to games like this. If I don't get the true ending, it's whatever. But yeah. I rush to my bike as soon as the call ends. Without another look, I leave the mansion along with the haunting melodies and grim echoes behind me. Well, it was fine if you chose the correct answer anyways, because I wouldn't know that until you said that. But yeah, okay. There are more important things than my own curiosity and impulses. Oh, we're playing Marianne now. Bro, I just wanted to see the ending. Come on. Anyways, since we're moving on to the new character, we'll read her profile next time we come back. Because, guess what? That's all the time we have for today. It seems that... I'm just going to save again just in case. Alright. It seems that we have now moved on to the next character in this game. Yeah, it is. It is. It's been 3 hours. Look at that. And it's a good time to stop as well, because we moved on to the next character, so... It's a good place to stop. It's actually a pretty sound place to stop. For the first time, this game actually lets me stop in a reasonable spot. Alright, so... That was exciting. We saw her a couple times today, interestingly enough. Zack's section was quite short, but it's understandable because some of the sections were in other character sections, like the theater part was in Isabella's section already, and the whole Ermengarde mansion photo shoot was in Hannah's section, so his section was a lot shorter. But thank you, Little Thieves, for coming to today's stream. I hope you enjoyed today's show. We're gonna hunt for somebody to raid, and while I'm doing that, why don't you guys, since Ozzy is here, why don't you guys join the Discord server if you're not already there. I am active in the, in the text channels. I am active in the text channels, and you may find me on occasion in the VCs, and I will be trying to do some Discord streams here and there for other games, such as, you know, doing a casual raft and other things as well. Follow me on all my socials if you will. Get some updates from me. Blah blah blah. And if there is your raid message if you are a sub, and I don't know if you already know the follower raid, but there is a follower raid message with the follower emote. Okay, let's see who is on today. Okay, so let's see. Who do we have playing right now? Who have I not rated? Let me see. So many options, so many options. Who do we go to? Okay. Let's go to... Choices. I have so many choices here. It's so hard to pick. Alright, here we go. We'll go to, Halbernacht. Nacht? I think that's how you pronounce his name. But we're gonna go raid him. He is currently playing Inscription. He has, interestingly enough, he has a very fascinating design. Alright, let's go. Alright, there we go. Thank you all once again for joining me today. I will see you guys for Valorant tomorrow. Thank you all once again, and I'll see you, my little thieves, in the next one. Bye.